A 2-month window is about to close for public submissions on a highly controversial $1.4 billion development at a major harbour in southeast Queensland. The proposal has driven an almost decade-long battle between local environmentalists and the selected developer.
Toondah Harbour is known as the gateway to Moreton Bay, but it's also been the source of a bitter dispute between environmentalist groups and Walker Corporation for the past 8 years.
We think it's a project that's really strongly supported by the community.
We've been inundated with people concerned about the process.
Toondah Harbour was deemed a priority development area by the Queensland Government and Redland City Council in 2013. A year later, Walker was selected to deliver a project to boost tourism, local jobs and facilities. Its $1.4 billion development proposal, which has been revised twice, includes the construction of up to 3,600 units, community infrastructure and upgrades to the current marina. It's slated to attract an extra 50,000 visitors to the Redlands coast each year and create more than 1,000 jobs during construction and 500 permanent jobs. But part of the project covers more than 40 hectares of Moreton Bay wetlands, an area protected under the Ramsar program, an internationally recognised scheme designed to conserve wetlands.
It's never happened. It'd be like revoking the national park status of Fraser Island and building a small, cute 3,600 development on Fraser Island. The community would be in uproar.
But the state government believes the federal managed program is flawed.
The forefathers who set up Ramsar and drew the arbitrary map took a part of that Toondah Harbour out for future development of Toondah Harbour. That's the number one principle. Did they put it in the right spot 30 years ago? No, they didn't.
Ramsar provisions allow for the wise use of wetlands, and Walker says the proposed development site is just 0.02% of the protected area. The Toondah Harbour development was knocked back by the Federal Environment Department in 2017. But then Environment Minister Josh Frydenberg requested an environmental impact statement a year later. The draft EIS, which is 5,000 pages long and draws on 5 years of data, was released by the developer in October.
We've taken the extra time, taken the extra effort to ensure every environmental aspect has been ticked off.
Redlands 2030 is among a number of environmental groups such as the Australian Conservation Foundation who disagree.
It has a number of flaws in it and a number of errors in it.
It's also raised concerns about the time given to the public to examine the draft EIS.
The 2-month period never allowed for reading of the document. We estimate that if you read for 5 hours a day, it would take you 30 days. There was only 40 days available.
State MP and local resident Don Brown is hitting back at the group.
But they just don't want to see growth here in the Redlands. They live here in the Redlands. They want it to be like it was in the 1970s.
A former Redland City Councillor has gone a step further, launching a personal attack on Mr McDonald.
Come out now and say that, and push for environmental reasonings for not allowing Toondah Harbour to go ahead is a bit hypocritical when he himself has tried to develop environmentally sensitive land in New South Wales.
Mr McDonald was involved in a housing development project on the state's mid-north coast, initially rejected by the local council in 2016.
The Southwest Rocks development's now been approved. We oppose it on the science.
The public has until Tuesday to submit their response to the draft environmental impact statement. The final EIS, which takes the feedback into account, will then be sent to the Federal Environment Minister and she'll decide if the project should proceed.
The Minister will be best to carefully read the EIS and to read the counter-arguments that have been presented in the hundreds.
We are confident.
If approved, Walker Corporation says it hopes the first sod will be turned by 2024. Lucy Gray, Sky News, Brisbane.